No one can deny that the Digital Services Act has teeth. I imagine the prospect of being fined 6% of global revenue and indeed being completely excluded from the EU market must be enough to send something for a frisson of terror down the spine of even the largest and most monopolistic global platforms. But I wonder, are even the most civil penalties enough? To take one example, Facebook's negligence in having no meaningful Burmese language content moderation meant that that platform was the primary organizing tool in the Rohingya genocide, one that left 20,000 people dead and made refugees of 1 million more. Normally, we would hope that people responsible for that kind of carnage would face meaningful personal consequences, criminal charges before a national or international court of competent jurisdiction. I know that this goes beyond the scope of the Digital Services Act, but I do have to ask you, can you imagine the possibility that people who are responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of people through their negligence will face the same kinds of criminal consequences in Europe that we would expect of people who are responsible for those kinds of deaths through more conventional means?
That is difficult for me to answer because the Digital Services Act, as you say, is not criminal in that respect. It's not that if you do not comply, then the CEO will have to go to jail. That is not how it works. I think it may be that you can be faced with that depending on national legislation, but that would then not be European legislation. And indeed, of course, we don't have the same horrible issues as you just referred to, but we do have member states where content moderation is almost non-existent because there is no investment in the languages of the country in question, which makes actually the use of the services also shaking how democracy works and how you, in the running up of elections, can have, open discussions where things can be fact-checked and people know what other people are being exposed to, and it can be discussed. So it's not unheard of that there is a sense of negligence in some of the smaller European markets with very specific languages.